Welcome to Get Over It, the Consciousness Transforming Podcast for exceptional 21st century living. Guess what, folks? We've got Meredith back with us, and we're going to be talking more about her book, The Language Your Body Speaks. Plus, we're going to be talking about some of the other things that she does. Now, if you didn't catch the first podcast with her, that is posted as of July 9th, 2020, and the title of it is Self-Healing with Energy Medicine. So do check that out, because that's kind of like the primer, if you will, for this podcast. Okay, but I know you guys are going to enjoy it. She's had great response from the first podcast. So I expect exponential listeners for this one. Now, the information shared on Get Over It uses intuitive and pragmatic insights to help you shift your consciousness to break through the blocks and release energy that is no longer needed. We're going to help you let go of that BS that's been holding you back. But you guys know I always ask that question, are you truly ready to? And by the way, folks, BS is belief system. A bit about me for my new listeners. Intuitive since birth. I'm a third-generation intuitive with over 3 decades of experience supporting people to break through the blocks along their path. I'm a strategist for personal and professional transformation, revealing cutting-edge information that enables you to prosper and thrive. I spent 25 successful years in corporate America as an executive sales professional, and I'm the founder of Healing Visions Ministries and at the Northern California Children's Education Network, a 501c3 nonprofit. I also authored 2 books. Excuse me. I provide consultations and healings in all areas of life that heal the mind-body-spirit connection, allowing you to live your very best life. My clients tell me that I keep it real while providing them with accurate information to assist them along their journey as a spirit living a human existence. But they also say, if you really don't want to know, don't ask Monique. My background includes a doctorate in metaphysics, Reiki master teacher, ordained minister, and clinical hypnotherapist. So whether you are stressed, depressed, or possessed, I can help. To find out more about me and the services I offer, go to my website, and that's MoniqueChapman.com, and I invite you to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. Ellen is back. Ellen Meredith is the author of The Language Your Body Speaks. She's an intuitive and, energy medicine practitioner with over 35 years of experience. She has served on the faculty of energy medicine pioneer Donna Eden since 2010 and teaches energy healing techniques all over the world. She lives in California, not too far from me, up in Marin County. And you can check her out on her website, and that's ellenmeredith.com, ELLENMEREDITH.com. Welcome back, Ellen.
Thanks, Monique. I'm really happy to be here. And hi, everybody out there.
Yeah, and you know, folks, you're going to hear a lot of clearing the throats, at least on my end, because the allergies are crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I got crazy allergies today. So please excuse me beforehand, and we'll get through this, okay? You know, Ellen, it's interesting. I've got allergies, and I'm talking to a healer. So what is it that I need to look at about, or those of us suffering in this way? What is it that we should pay attention to? Because our body's trying to tell us something, because my body wants to get rid of all kinds of fluids.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine's doing the same thing, although I have to admit I've got cats, and I'm a little allergic to cats, and I will insist on kissing them, and so my immune system just sometimes objects. And but let me talk a little about allergies, because I think it's not just you and me. I think a lot of people are experiencing some reactivity right now in their bodies, and I want to talk a little about the energy of allergy. Okay. We have a feature, a function in our energy systems that I call the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is your physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual immune system. Mm-hmm. And it keeps the gates of self. It says this can come in, this needs to stay out. This is safe, this is not safe. This is me, this is not me. It's that decision maker that keeps us in body, that keeps us whole. And when our gatekeeper gets alert, feels like something is coming in that doesn't belong, or something is threatening the sanctity of self, she reacts. I'm going to call her a she. It's a mechanism, right? But we're both she's here. And so it reacts. and it can speak to us through various symptoms. One of the things it does is it starts partitioning our energy field so that the energies don't flow as smoothly as they normally would. And that gets our attention, right? It's like putting up little walls and baffles. And the reason it does that, it's like with poison. If you swallow poison, it doesn't want the poison to go everywhere. So it's just going to try to surround it. And sometimes the phlegm actually surrounds particles that don't belong in the body. That's one of the purposes of running phlegm. So if there's a feeling, and they may not be particles, they may actually be thoughts or emotions or energies of any sort, but when your gatekeeper gets triggered, one of the things it's going to do is start running the phlegm to just surround anything that doesn't belong, to just get things maybe moving a little more. There's inflammation is one of the reactions of your gatekeeper. So if you've got inflammation going on, and again, this is both physical, but it's also emotional, mental, and spiritual. So you think about, well, what's emotional inflammation? It's that prickliness we get where we're just a little bit irritated or bothered. And, what's a mental irritation? Sometimes we get hooked on a single thought and we start to, well, why didn't he do that? Wait, why did he do that? That's not good. We get kind of prickly around a thought. That's all your gatekeeper. And
okay.
It's meant to keep you safe. It's meant to keep you whole, and it's meant to keep us in our bodies. And because we come into this lifetime, and we have a body, we have a form. I call it your earth elemental self, and we need to keep that whole. And if we just float back into spirit, it's lovely, but we can't function. So it's the mechanism that keeps us in our bodies and keeps the body safe at all costs. So it's good to befriend your gatekeeper and know what she's trying to signal to you.
Okay. That takes a little bit of work, but folks, it's important that we do our own work. You can have assistance of someone else, but it's truly important that we do our work. So I will pay attention because I've got the allergy. I will definitely pay attention.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I teach a lot of exercises and activities to calm the gatekeeper. So I thought maybe I could tell you one or two now since you're needing it, and probably a lot of people out there. I just want to say we both have an outer gatekeeper, a yang gatekeeper that protects you from things coming at you in the world. But we also have an inner gatekeeper that protects the sanctity of the self, sort of your heart and your soul and all that inner good stuff. And they both can get triggered in different ways. And I'm not going to do a whole long thing about all the different ways the gatekeeper works, but you want to be able to calm it down. So to calm your yang gatekeeper, one thing you can do, imagine you've got a big inside-out sock or something, a big tube around you, and it's almost like an egg shape around you. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab that at the top of your head, and it's just grabbing the energy. You're going to breathe in and pull straight up with your arms. Then you're going to breathe out, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your arms down and out like the egg shape, down all the way to the ground, and you're going to tack that energy on the ground. Then you're going to grab the other end of this inside-out tube, and you're going to breathe in and pull it out and up in that bow shape, like an egg shape around you. And then as you exhale, you're going to tack it to the top of your head. It's basically something that's inside out that you're putting right side out again. I call it porcupine reset, because when your energies get activated, you look like a big porcupine. So you want to kind of calm the porcupine. So that's really good for your yang gatekeeper. And for your yin gatekeeper, just draw hearts on your heart. Just go to your heart and draw beautiful hearts all over your anatomical heart, your heart chakra, that whole area of your chest. Just slow and beautiful hearts, and feel them in your skin. I mean, I usually do them right on the body unless I've got a rash there or something, so that my body really gets the message.
Wow, that's interesting because when you did the first exercise you shared, I did that and it felt very grounded. I actually felt like weighted to the earth. For me, that is good. And then when I was doing the heart exercise, it was interesting because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm speaking a bit more clearly now. Like inflammation, allergies, whatever, took a back seat for the moment anyway. So it's instantaneous, folks. So, you can heal yourself quickly if you allow yourself to heal. Now,
Absolutely.
You are a big believer in, and I lost my place here. You're a big believer in lifestyle medicine. So is this the same? What you're sharing with us now?
What I just did, I call those energy medicine exercises. They're very much in the style of what Donna Eden teaches, where it's basically movements, gestures, whatever, that influence your various energy flows or energy systems. If you shut your eyes and think, okay, I feel solid, but I'm this real mass of moving, shifting energies. We're made of energy, and you could kind of picture all these whirling, swirling, moving things. That's what we really are. So when we use our hands that way and our arms, we're influencing the flow of energies that feed the organs, that feed the various functions of our body. Lifestyle medicine is an extension of that. If I'm feeling really crummy and horrible, I find that if I do the dishes and clean them, or especially cleaning pots and pans, that really shifts something for me. It's almost like in cleansing the pots and pans, I'm clearing my mind. I'm clearing my heart. I'm even clearing the plot line of my life a little bit. That's what I call lifestyle medicine. Things we do that shift the energy for us, that shift the emotions, that shift the thoughts, that shift how that flow works. And it's cheap, and it doesn't cost much. I mean, it doesn't cost me much to do my dishes or iron my clothes or go for a little walk. So everything that we do that shifts our energy is part of a set of things that I call lifestyle medicine.
I love it. I love it. Folks, we're speaking with Ellen Meredith. We're talking about her book, The Language Your Body Speaks. We do have a previous podcast with her, and that aired on July 9th, 2020. You can go back in your podcast menu and find it and listen to that. And you can check her out on her website, and that's ellenmeredith.com. Ellen, when we spoke back in July, COVID was still running rampant. At that time, I was still suffering mightily from the after effects of the case of COVID that I came down with. But I want to update COVID a little bit to talk about today. The vaccines are out, and as of this recording, the first Janssen, or Janssen, however you say that, Johnson & Johnson vaccines were out or sent out. And during this COVID process, it's just myself and my husband in the house, and we can't see the kids and this, that, and the other. And it gets very lonely. So talk to us a bit about the lack of maybe someone who's living by themselves who doesn't have anybody to talk to in the house or even to touch them. And then take the second part of this and talk about the vaccine and how energetically do you think it will help us in addition to the physical?
Okay, excellent questions. And I did actually want to talk about COVID today because it does affect a lot of us. One thing that COVID does energetically is it affects your yin gatekeeper. It affects the protector of the inner sanctity of the self. Excuse me. And one of the ways it does this is it influences your vagus nerve, which is a big nerve that runs all through the body, and it influences your circulation. It influences all different parts, your digestion, pretty much every working system in your body. So when you get a virus is a messenger, and it comes in and it interferes with your own messaging. And so one of the problems is it's active, your body can't hear itself think, and it's getting wrong messaging. Once the virus leaves, it leaves things fallen apart in its wake. So, for example, when you felt better because you were doing the hearts, when it cleared some of your congestion, that's because one of the things that COVID does is it leaves us kind of in pieces. It kind of takes away some of the glue that holds us together. And that's happening as a society as well. I mean, not just for the individuals, but in a larger way. So one of the ways that we can either heal ourselves or keep ourselves safer is to bring more what I call coherence, more integration. And especially for people who don't get a lot of touch, hugging yourself is good. It may be weird, but your body responds to self-hugging almost as well as or better than someone else hugging you. So that's one key. And there's an exercise that I teach called touch bath, where you basically take two hands and place them next to each other anywhere on your skin and just spread them apart. You're just opening up space for energies to move. And you just, all over your body, you touch yourself. Like a cat would lick herself everywhere. You just touch yourself and you spread your skin apart. You open it up. You stimulate it. You can even figure eight yourself. And what it does is it brings that sense of touch to your body self, what I call your earth elemental. It makes your body feel heard, and it kind of calms your gatekeeper that someone is there. And that's so important when we're not having a lot of exchanges with other people out in the world, to just show up for ourselves more specifically, more physically than we normally would. And even if you're there with a husband, self-touch becomes one of the most healing things we can do. So in terms of how to address the recovery from COVID or not getting it, is you want to protect the inner sanctity of the self. And ironically, a lot of us are staying home and not running around as much and getting less distracted. So we are actually naturally strengthening that inner sense of self and that inner purpose. But it's not just, it's good for you spiritually. It's very good for your immune system to have that spiritual or inner renewal and that sense of I'm connecting into myself. I'm getting grounded in myself and in who I am and what I am. So that's one piece of it, is just understanding the energetics of this virus. Is it comes along and it leaves people literally discombobulated, disconnected from themselves, ungrounded. And that then your immune system goes on red alert saying, hey, I'm not grounded, hey, I'm not grounded, hey, I'm not grounded, and starts throwing out symptoms after symptoms. So people who are experiencing even some long-haul effects, you want to reestablish your basic energies. You want to connect into yourself and get everything connected up and working. And one of the best ways to do that is just figure eight all over your body and around your body and your field and between yourself and the world, and just get all those integrative figures of figure eights moving better for yourself. I mean, that's a very simplistic way. There's lots of other things, but and I do have a whole course a free course on energy medicine for healing from virus on my YouTube channel. So I just want to mention there's resources there. I know that sounds like an ad, but no, it's just a free resource I put out.
Okay. Girl, I believe it's shameless advertising.
Okay, but it's free, and it's just there for people because I wanted you to have the exercises there and for free that you could use to reestablish your energies once a virus has come through and disrupted you. And even if you haven't had COVID, the virus has disrupted you. I mean, we've all been staying home, or most of us. We've all, had to give up some of the things we love to do with people. We stopped going to movies and theaters. Lots of things that got disrupted are energetic truths for us, even if we didn't have the actual virus. So it's a society-wide virus as well as a specific one. So to get to the vaccine, I actually had my first one recently, and I thought about it quite a bit, and I did some research. And the reason I chose to do it is that my body is very vulnerable to viruses, and it usually takes me a long time to recover because I'm a messenger by nature. I've got Mercury in everything, and so for me, I mean, really, I just Gemini and the whole bit. So So when a messenger comes and disrupts my body's messaging, it takes my body longer to sort out what's me and what's not me, what is safe and what isn't safe. It's very suggestible to viruses. And so I thought about it and thought, dealing with the vaccine is probably going to be less hard on my body than dealing with if I were to get COVID. And that was where I made my choice. But I've been looking at it energetically in my body. What I did, because I got the Moderna one, which is little RNA messengers, I had a little induction ceremony with my gatekeeper welcoming in the new little RNAs that come with the injection, and welcoming them to the team, so that it wasn't like, oh, I'm being shot, and invaded by this thing. It's like, no, helpers are here. I've got a, kind of a support team coming in with specialized abilities to help my gatekeeper function better. And I really spent an hour or two just celebrating, having a welcome home party to these little RNAs, and I had very little reaction. It went very well. I had a little nausea. I put on C-bands, which are little bands that work on your balance and help with nausea, and it went right away. So I did a little energy medicine to help it, and it was fine. So what are the energetics of it? Well, first of all, it brings in the belief that we aren't at the mercy of this thing that can kill us, that there is something that will help protect us. Second, it gives a message to your gatekeeper that, hey, we can learn something new, and this virus, we can learn how to recognize and say no to this virus. And it sort of brings a little lesson how to do that, sort of coded into the chemistry of it. And I think it says to society, this isn't an endless siege, that we can actually step past it. And so I think that energetically, message-wise, it is a positive thing to have the potential of virus. I mean, there's all kinds of problems about equity of distribution and all of that. But putting that aside, not all vaccines are the same. I'm not a big fan of every vaccine under the sun. But I do believe that if you have a single vaccine that has a focused purpose and you welcome it to serve that purpose, and it becomes a partner to your gatekeeper, it won't harm you, and it will do the job it's designed to do. So,
okay. Okay, well, folks, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I don't do the flu shots, okay?
I don't either.
Pneumonia vaccine. This upcoming Friday, I'm getting the COVID vaccine, and I thought long and hard about it because, old, Black, I've got issues that older Black women have, and it frightened me at first, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. And then I went to, okay, I'll take J&J when it comes out, and then last week I was sitting and I actually meditated on it, and what came to me in my meditation was both of my kids' faces popped up, and they were reaching their arms out to hug me, and I couldn't hug them back. So I'm like, okay, I want to see my oldest, who's not living in the area, so I'm going to get the vaccine, and then my youngest, who lives in the area, he can come over and be safer, healthier, all of us. So I decided to do it. Now I've heard different things. You can get sick, you can't get sick, but my basic feeling is if you do the energy work that Ellen has just talked about, and then you take precautions that you can physically do, like getting more sleep. So make sure that you stay up the night before. So you're really tired today, you get your shot, so you go home and go to sleep. Or you have whatever it is that you use to get rid of a headache or to kind of quell the oncoming symptoms of feeling not well. And if you do that, I think that you'll be okay. I mean, I got a friend who's in his 80s and he got the shot, and it did put him down for 5 days, and he goes, I had 5 days of rest. My wife didn't bug me, and I recovered, and I'm just fine now. So, I mean, it has to be a personal decision. It truly does. But the energetics behind it, I feel, is very important. Now, Ellen, talk to us about our language around our health. Because, you touched on it a little bit with the language of the COVID. So why is our language so important to having well-being?
Well, language is how we as human beings codify our experience. I mean, even as young children, we give names to things. We use phrases that connect us to the experience we've had, but also to other people. And so when we use language that is fear-based or negative or hateful or defeatist, we're giving that the energetics of those words that we learned to our physical self. And so I'm a big, it's fine to say something terrible, but it's also good to reframe it then as a positive. So, for me, the reframe was not, okay, I've got to have this big protective shot from something attacking me. It's more like I need to reinforce my sense of self with these extra, very specialized helpers who can do that. And so then I came up with the concept of a ritual to welcome the new helpers in, a kind of induction ceremony. You can only think of things like an induction ceremony if you're playing around with what am I saying, how am I saying it, and why am I saying it that way? And to really say, what is it I truly believe and understand about life, and how can I fit this experience that I'm working with into what I truly believe and make it part of my world rather than somebody else's imposition on my world.
Okay. What is healing subjectivity, and how can we bring that back into healing? We seem to have lost our way there.
Healing subjectivity. Well, okay, good question. So one of the crazy things that happens in our society is that we have objectified illness. So illness is a thing, rather than I have a body that functions, and when I'm sick, it's because it's not functioning as well. We go to, I have a gallbladder attack, or I have this disease called impetigo, or I have a cancer, and we think of these as things apart from ourselves, and then our Western medicine is all about either attacking the things, removing the things, addressing just the thing. And other realms, other worlds of healing, like Eastern healing forms of healing, see it very differently. And I'm kind of more in that camp of saying your body is functioning, and you get sick, it's because your body's not functioning as well. If you have a cancer, it's not a thing. It's your cells are replicating too fast or out of control, and the mechanism that tells them that I have enough and I should stop now, I don't need more cells, is not working right now. And so how do I work within myself to repair the body's functioning on its own terms rather than seeing everything that happens to me as something from outside? That's the objective. And the subjective is I have to live this life in this body, and I can change the storyline somewhat, and I can change the body somewhat, but mostly this is my instrument. And if I want to play the music of my soul, I want to get really good at playing this instrument and finding out what it can do. And so healing is beyond just fixing what's wrong. It's cultivating what it means to be well. You said you're old and black. What does it mean to be a very thriving older black woman? What do you want to do with that character and that instrument that you have chosen in this lifetime? What do I'm an older Jewish lesbian. What do I want to do with that storyline and those details? And I may change the storyline,
right.
But I don't need to become a piccolo. If I'm a violin, I don't have to treat myself like I should be a piccolo. And I think so often we take other people's rules and ideas about what's healthy, and we try to, take ourselves to boot camp to make it happen, and that's not healing. That's not wholeness. That's just, something outside the self rather than what you referred to as subjective healing.
Okay. I want to switch gears. On your website, ellenmeredith.com, you offer so much. And the one thing that caught my attention this morning, and I'm actually going to go through it while I'm talking to you on the phone, is you have a DIY divination tool. So if you want to have and give your own reading, folks. This is a good tool, but it's quite interesting. So I'm going to tell the people about it, and I'm going to submit a question, and it gives you instant answers. You don't have to give an email or anything like that. So I'm going to do a question, tell people what it is, and I'm going to put a question in, and then I will share the answer with everybody. Okay.
Okay. Well, divination is the art of getting insight by using imagery, symbols, objects to trigger your knowing, trigger your inner knowing. It's not a message from outside yourself. It's to divine your truth, to get inward and hear. And so this divination tool, do-it-yourself divination tool, it's not tarot or runes or the I Ching. Those are more formalized forms of divination. It's kind of a self-help tool where you put in a question, you choose a layout, you say like past, present, or future, or mine, yours, ours, or the heart, the head, the mind, and the body. It's different aspects that will address that. Then I have I think about 500 images in there, maybe more, and it's a randomized thing. So you put in numbers for each of the positions you've chosen, like let's say it's past, present, future. You put in a number for each of those positions, and the tool will give you an image. And then what I've got set up online is you just free associate. You look at the image and say, how does this relate to not only my question, but the aspect? If it's the past, how does this relate to the past of my question, or the present of my question, or the future? And then you just write in what you think and see, and free associate. You can even get a friend to help you, and then you can summarize what you've come up with. And it walks you through doing a little psychic or intuitive reading for yourself. And psychic is just a matter of activating your intuition. So anyway, that's what it is, and it's kind of fun to play with. It's free. You can use it as much as you want.
Yeah, I did it. Well, I did one earlier, and I did it around business, and it showed a phone, which I do a lot of work on the phone. It showed like musical notes. At least that's what I interpreted it as. Like, things are going to be just fine. And, what was the third one? I don't remember the third one, but it was all like right in sync with what I was doing. So this one, since I was talking about getting the vaccine and all of that, I put in how would the vaccine affect me, and I utilized, there's 3 different layouts, folks. There's the developmental, the elemental, and the relational. So I used the elemental layout, and the first one that came up was the heart, and it says, what does the image above tell me about the heart of the matter? And what I got was dominoes, which I thought was quite interesting. And then the next one, which is even more interesting, is the mind. What does the mind tell you? The image is a cloudy, like a rain falling. The third was the body, and that was an airplane, and I used to like to fly anyway. And the fourth one, I haven't looked at this one yet, the soul, and this is a computer with a mouse and a screen. So based on that, what would you say if you were working with someone?
Okay, we're going to have to do them one at a time because I can't memorize that many things at once.
The first one is domino, the heart.
Okay, and that's the heart. Okay, so one of the things about this tool is it's really about activating your own knowing for yourself. But as I said, a friend can help you. So two of the things I think about dominoes is, one, that if you line a bunch up and you flick one over, then a lot of other things fall into place. They all, you can get a whole string of dominoes falling over. And that can be negative or positive. But since we've got a pandemic going on, it sort of says to me, well, your heart is maybe feeling like if you do this, you're contributing to the ending of the pandemic. That's what my association is.
That's how I took dominoes fall, and you can set up, as you said, and they fall wonderfully.
Right. One individual making that choice, yes, you help protect yourself, but you said you had COVID. You might actually have some immunity, but you're doing it.
I don't. I had the test done. I don't.
Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah. So in fact, it's something that sets things in motion for you. That's a positive. Now you could say, oh my gosh, dominoes, they all fall down. But I don't see it that way. The other thing I think about dominoes is how it matches things up. And so it may actually help your body get more organized. You know how you play dominoes by matching the 1 to the 1 and then the 6 to the 6 and then the 3 to the 3. And so it may help your body just sort some things out and actually get healthier. It might help your immune system get organized. That was the other association that came up for me.
Okay. And the second one was the mind, and it had like a rain cloud over it. And I took that as a positive because when it rains, it generally washes things away. It clears. It promotes growth and healing. So that was my interpretation around that. And
I had the same one.
Oh, okay. And then the body was an airplane. You know, generally, they're pretty strong. You can fly. You can go from one place to another with great speed. At least on the positive aspect. The negative aspect is you get on the airplane and nobody has on a mask and everybody's sick. But I'm not going there. I'm going with
Well, but here's the thing. The question was about getting the COVID vaccine, meaning you'll be safe to get on an airplane again.
You know,
it's like you'll be safe to do things you love to do. You'll be safe to go places and get out and about. Airplane to fly. So I sort of see it as your body saying, yeah, I can take off, I can fly if I have this protection in me.
Right. And then the last one was the soul, and that was the picture of the computer with the mouse and the screen.
Yeah. And that's interesting. And what's your association with computers?
If I don't work with my computer, I don't make money. My website, the podcast. I like this wonderful little computer.
Yeah. I mean, so it sounds like, in the position of the soul, you think, what, a computer? How soulful is that? But if it's the instrument of your work, and your work is your soul's work, which it is, then it's just sort of saying, then you can keep going with your work. Your instrument will be, of your soul, will be fine, will be supported.
So, folks, that makes perfect sense. But, folks, I want to get in that you can, and again, there's 3 different layouts, and you can pick your questions. The first time I did it, I asked the same question like 3 different times with different numbers. Okay, all of them tracked in the same energy, and all of them were correct for me. Yeah, you do have to think about it. So nobody's going to be here like with Ellen just, did with me and tell you what it means. But if you and I did that so you guys could get a clue. But if you, look at it, take the time and, take the energy within, you'll come up with wonderful answers. So that's one great thing on our site. Now, Ellen, also on your site, you've got the books that you have written, DVDs. You've got a coaching corner. Tell us about your coaching. And are you doing virtual coaching, or is that up and running when COVID were free?
Okay. At the moment, I'm not, because I'm teaching on the Shift Network. That's SHIFT Network. It's a wonderful place to get courses, and I've taught. I've got one 7-week course, Activating Your Body's Language. It's really fun and chock full of tools and things, and so that's available there. And I'm putting out another course that should be available in a month or 2. I'm in the midst of teaching a 12-week advanced course. So because I'm doing that and I'm working on another book, I'm not actively coaching at the moment. And, I put it up thinking, I can do some group coaching. It'll be so fun. And then I just got too busy. So, but what I do with the coaching corner is if people put in questions, every couple months I'll take the questions and I'll find, 3 or 4 or 5 that I think are relevant to a lot of people, and I'll put up video answers. So I think in the coaching corner you can find some of those Q&As. Yeah, okay. And if you go to my YouTube channel, again, we posted even more there. I think I'm up to 18 or 20. I don't know how many are there. So so that's how I'm doing the coaching now, is just trying to put out as much free material as I can for people, or accessible material, and trying to work from the questions and concerns that people have and they bring to me.
Okay, cool. Now, what is your YouTube channel so that we're all clear on that?
I think it's called Energy Medicine with Ellen Meredith.
Okay.
And that's MEREDITH. Yeah.
Okay.
And
we'll put that on the show page, folks, and a link there so that you'll be able to find it. Ellen, as always, when I talk to you, the time just flies so quickly. And
really, Monique. But
I would love for you to give us yet another pearl of wisdom.
Okay. Let me just think for a second. Right now, one of the things that is really important is grounding. There's a lot of things going on in our shared culture that has just kind of uprooted all of us. We're in a time where change itself is accelerating. There's so much going on. So in terms of grounding, I want you to think in terms of almost like air roots, that we don't just ground into Mother Earth, although that's important. We send out filaments of connection to everything that gives our life meaning. So I think it's good to take a little moment and say, what gives my life meaning? Who do I admire? What do I admire? What are the qualities? And just send a little, like you're a spider, send a little filament of connection out to those things that give you meaning for whatever reason. I'm looking at a really beautiful big tree outside my window, and I'm just going to send a little filament of connection to that. And I'm going to send a filament of connection to a few of my teachers from the past. I'm going to send one to you, Monique, and out to the color that I love. There's a beautiful color of purple blue that I just love, and I'm sending a filament of connection that way. And those filaments become almost a conduit for energies to come in and nourish us and feed us. And when I talk about grounding, I like to think of nourishment, that we're not just plugged in, we're being nourished by our connections. And so that's what I want to invite people to think about, is what nourishes me beyond food, what nourishes me, and how can I make connection with those things and let them nourish me better.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Ellen, thanks so much for your time today. I greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Monique, it's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. We have to get together because we don't live too far from each other, just over the bridge.
I know. I know. And pretty soon it'll be safe to do that.
Yes. Yay. Woohoo.
Yay.
Again, Ellen, thank you. The audience, thank you. And I want everyone to remember that the most important choice that you can make is what you choose to make important. Consider making the masterful choice of learning the language that your body speaks so that you can have better health. Abundant blessings, light and love to all. Agape.